So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. And you back here, BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Friday, February 26th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day. Yesterday, it is in fact Friday, February 26th here today. We are now 2 days away from the start of spring training baseball. It starts up on Sunday, February 28th. We'll be covering it all today on the podcast. It should be super exciting. I'm ready. Hopefully you are as well. It is going to be an exciting spring training, a lot of things to watch, a lot of things to look for, and ultimately we have baseball back, and that's really one of the big things. That's what I'm most excited about, is the fact that baseball is back. Baseball is back in session, and it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch, to see how it looks, how it sounds, allowing fans, not allowing fans, players, how they look, in the offseason like we had, where it was a lot going on. How do they look coming out of it? Are they a little rusty? They've only had about a week to prepare. What do they look like? It's going to be pretty good to see. It's going to be exciting to watch, and I'm ready. Hopefully you are as well. So a big weekend coming up, and I can finally say it. Baseball is this weekend, and I said this, even though it is only spring training, and I might be getting too excited, but even though these games mean nothing, if you win or lose, they mean absolutely nothing. It's spring training, who cares? But the fact that we are seeing baseball is just what's so exciting. I mean, we're going to be watching a baseball game this weekend. I mean, to me, that's so exciting. And I understand, obviously, and why I'm so excited too this year is because it's 60 games last season. That season flew by. I mean, that didn't even feel like a full season. I mean, it was 60 games compared to 162. We're going to see 102 more games this year than we did last season. And to me, that is really exciting, because I like the whole 162. I know a lot of people like the 60. And they like to just watch the 60 games. It was a race to the finish, and it was a quick season. Every game counted that much more. But I like the 162. I like when it starts in April and ends all the way in September, and obviously you got October baseball. I like that. Obviously I liked last season. It was a good year and all. But I didn't like July, August, September, boom, it was done. 3 months. I like the whole April all the way towards September. So we're getting that season this year. Should be good. To kind of wrap up what happened last night in sports, the Nets got a good win yesterday. We started off really slow. It was actually a little worrisome the way we started off that game. We started off really slow. We didn't look good at all. To be honest, neither teams looked good. There was a lot of missed shots, a lot of missed opportunities. To be honest, I was getting frustrated. I was sitting there like, really, this is really like what's happening to this team? Like, should we re-enter? Should we go back into the locker room and come back out again? Like, what has happened? We were missing shots left and right, but the Nets were able to bounce back. Had a huge 41-point second quarter. Third quarter was big, and fourth quarter we did not take our foot off the gas as we dominate, not just defeat, we dominated the Orlando Magic of a score of 129-92. It was close to start the game. We were actually losing to start the game. But then I think we realized that we were losing. I think we realized we weren't playing as good as we expected, and we put our foot on the gas, and we did not release it. So hopefully we carry that momentum we had yesterday into tomorrow's game against the Dallas Mavericks, as we have a day off today. Rangers play today against the Boston Bruins. Fans, this is the first time this season the Rangers will have fans at Madison Square Garden, so that should be good. Knicks obviously welcomed fans a couple days ago. They obviously had 2 home games. This is the Rangers' first home game back since the fans are allowed back into the buildings for New York sports. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's kind of your New York. That's kind of your little bit of an update for last night. But these are the topics for today. Like I said, I'm going to be talking spring training, so we're going to go Yankees-Mets spring training preview. But I thought of a little bit more of a unique way of doing things. Instead of always doing the same exact thing, looking at this player, what can this player do? I decided there's some questions. ESPN posted some things, and it's like a question. It's Q&A thingy, and there's a question there like, what player are you most excited to see? And I'm going, instead of doing that in the MLB, I'm going to talk a little bit about the MLB, but I really want to zone in on the Yankees and Mets because if you watch this podcast, you will know I'm going to talk a lot of Yankees and Mets on this podcast, a ton of it. I will talk MLB, but a lot of it will be Yankees, Mets. Definitely we'll talk some of the bigger name teams. Like I'll talk Dodgers, I'll talk Padres. I'll talk them with some. I mean, if the Yankees have a 3-game series against a team, I'll talk about that other team. But if you notice, I talk about New York sports, so I really wanted to hone on the Yankees and the Mets, and I thought it would really be a good idea to hone in on the Yankees and the Mets because the Yankees, Mets both made, multiple moves this season. Some were bigger than others, but I decided to do this little thing. So it's kind of a question. I'll give you my answer, like what player are you most excited to see in spring training? And then after spring training, I'll do another one of these where I will give you what player are you most exciting to see this regular season. It's a little different, but we got that. Then we'll give you my game pick, and I'll give you the rest of the MLB's game picks as well for spring training. It's not going to be a crazy in-depth game pick. I'll just give you who I think is going to win. Then Leonard Williams rumors / NFL. Leonard Williams rumors. Leonard Williams and the Giants are still far apart on a contract, so we'll talk about that, tell you how that's going to really affect the team if he does not come back, so we'll get into that. Then we got college basketball, Kentucky, NBA, NHL. And then fantasy, hockey, and basketball. And then your rest of your New York sports update. Packed today. Once again, Fridays are always packed as we head into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, a lot of action. College basketball tomorrow. Some big games as we round the corner. One more, after this weekend, we have one more weekend full of college basketball games until the March Madness. So we're rounding it. We're right around the corner. March Madness is right ahead. So for teams that are on the outside looking in, for teams that are trying to make a late push, for teams that are in and maybe trying to just secure their spot even more, there's definitely some pivotal games on tomorrow, so that should be good. Then obviously Kentucky plays tomorrow as well. Rangers play today. Nets have a day off. They play tomorrow as well. So with all that being said, to wrap up the podcast, we'll have the New York Sports Update, but with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So what are you most excited for as the MLB spring training games begin? And before I start, obviously it's spring training. These games don't mean anything. But to me, as a fan of I love baseball, I love to play it, I love to watch it, I just love baseball, I love to look at the numbers, I just love baseball. So for a fan that just loves baseball, I thoroughly enjoy watching spring training baseball. And yes, it means nothing. And yes, the games are not going to count. If you win a game, it's not going to count. If you lose a game, it's not going to count. I mean, but these games are definitely meaningful to many players. I mean, players that are trying to fight for roster spots, players that are trying to prove that they are going to be, that they should make the roster, players that are, trying to, maybe trying to secure their spot, maybe players that are in a position battle right now and trying to show that they should deserve the starting role over the other player, whoever that other player is. So there's so many different things. As a fan and as a person, I could very well sit up here and say, it means absolutely nothing. And it really doesn't. The records don't. After spring training is over, you go in with a clean slate. You go in with your roster, the guys that you obviously picked. But for the coaches, for the players, it means a lot. And even for the players like Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge, where we know, even the starters, even the players that we know are going to be on the opening day roster, this is still an opportunity for them to get ready, get warmed up, enjoy the nice weather that's in Tampa and in Arizona, wherever your spring training facility may be, and ultimately get warmed up and get ready for a 162-game stretch. And stretch, especially this year. Because obviously it's not 60 games this year, it's a 162, and a lot of people, it takes a lot of preparation to be ready for 162. It really does. 60 is a little different, 162 is a lot different. And for a 162 game season, you got to have your body ready, because you can't be coming in slacking. You got to make sure you're coming in good shape. You got to make sure your arm is well. And for any player, even if you're an infielder or outfielder, you got to take care of your arm. I mean, you can't, like Hicks, he had elbow surgery. He said this year his arm feels 100%. Last season it obviously didn't, but that's because he came back a little earlier. But that's also because he was able to come back a little earlier. But there's a lot of different things. Even though these games mean nothing, and obviously I want the Yankees to win every game. But if they lose, I'm not going to be crazy angry. I mean, sure, I'm not going to be happy. But I mean, if they lose, it's not the end of the world. It's spring training. But at the same time, you got to look at it as it's an opportunity for some of these guys battling for a roster spot to possibly make the roster, and for guys that spots For guys that, might be on the verge of losing their roster spot, this is an opportunity for them to prove even more why they should be on the opening day roster. And for guys like Garrett Cole, guys like Aaron Judge, guys like Stanton, guys like Torres, Voit, all those guys that we all know already have roster spots, this is just a time for them to warm up, get ready for the season, work on things that, even if it's working on a new pitch, you could do that in spring training. There's so many different things to do, and that's why they call it spring training. It's training. It's getting ready for the season. It is not, it's baseball's version of preseason. It's baseball's version of the preseason. It's spring training. You have practices. Some days you don't play, and you know what? On those days you're not playing, you're at another field. You're at a practice field practicing something else. So we'll get to see a lot of that. But I thought today, as it is Friday and I don't do podcasts over the weekends and the games are on Sunday, outside of the Mets do not play Sunday. The Mets play Monday, but I'm gonna still do my. I might end up doing my game pick still on Monday, but I'm gonna still do the Mets thing today, even though the Mets don't play this weekend. They play on Monday. But I thought, since spring training's coming up this weekend, I will give you some of the things. So ESPN came out with this article thingy, giving you some questions, and you can obviously answer them yourself. I'm going to answer them right now. There's just some questions. What player are you most looking forward to seeing? What player, has a roster spot battle? All that good stuff, things like that. What are you most excited to see? Things like that. So I decided I'm going to do that. They did this for the MLB. I'm going to do it for the Yankees and the Mets. So I'm going to give you the Yankees player, the Mets player, tell you why, and ultimately we'll be finished and we'll head on to the next topic. And that's kind of my little bit of a spring training prep. It's not going to be as big as my season prep. My season prep is going to be the power rankings. It's going to be the lineup. It's going to be predicting the pitcher. It's going to be all that stuff. For spring training, it's a little less just because it's spring training. But I will still be doing some good stuff here. I'm not going to do my power rankings yet. I just want to make that clear. Power rankings will be on opening day, before the games start. That will be my power rankings day. That's when I do my power rankings at the end of the season. I'll pull them out, see what ones I got right, see what ones I got wrong. Ultimately, by then, we'll know who the World Series champion. But that's way down the road. That's all the way in October. We're in February, so we gotta go back a little bit and focus on spring training here. So let's get into this here. So, the number one question here, actually, let me just read this a little bit here. So, with MLB spring training games set to begin Sunday across Florida and Arizona, it is officially baseball season once again. The start of a new season means seeing players like Francisco Lindor, Trevor Bauer, and Nolan Arenado in their new uniforms, along with chance to get a glimpse of some of the game's top prospects. And for those of us who like snow, on the ground, a chance to think ahead to warmer months. Yeah, obviously the warm months, which is obviously true because, obviously that's true. That's spring training is also a sign of spring, summer, close here. So to celebrate the sport's return, we asked our MLB experts to weigh in on some of the players, teams, prospects, and themes they can't wait to see in MLB spring training action for the first time starting Sunday. So here's a couple questions. There's 1, 2, 3, 4... About 5. There's like 5 questions. I might go I might only go like 3 of them. I might go crazy in depth. The other 2, I might just give you a general answer. But here we go. So the first question is, this isn't really a player question. This is kind of just a team thing. So what are you most excited to see when spring training games start this weekend? So to be honest, this isn't just player-wise. I'm not going to give you the player yet. This is kind of just more team-wise. So, to be honest, this is kind of a general thing. I'm not going to go Yankees, Mets here. I'm going to kind of go general theme, MLB, kind of just tell you it. So, what I'm most excited seeing in spring training this weekend is, first off, I just want to see, the different prospects. And I want to see, the guys battling for roster spots, the guys that, are on the verge of, making a roster spot, guys that are on the verge of losing a roster spot. I want to see how all those guys play. I want to see how guys like Deivi Garcia, it's not a guarantee that Deivi Garcia is going to be the Yankees' 5th starter. I would love to see how he does. I want to see so many different guys and see how they do. Guys like Dustin May, even on the Dodgers, to take this away from the Yankees and the Mets. Guys out like Dustin May and the Dodgers, I want to see how he does. We saw a glimpse of him last season. This is a guy that I wouldn't say is a guaranteed roster spot. I would say this is a guy that could very well be flexible, possibly be in the bullpen and being the starting pitcher. I would go ahead and put money that he's going to be a starting pitcher this year, but here's a very good opportunity. If he comes out sluggish and not playing well, there's an opportunity he might not be the starter there. So let's just say I want to see how he does. I want to see how he comes out. He wasn't great in the World Series, but I also think that was some of the nerves. I think it was also because it was the World Series, and it's the World Series. I mean, really, for a young pitcher to come in the World Series in big moments of the game, it's tough to pitch well, especially when your nerves are high, things like that, and you knew it. He was chucking the ball all over the place. So I really would say, first off, I'm just excited to see baseball back. The crowd, hearing all the different sounds, hearing the smack of the glove, hearing the crack of the bat, seeing all the nice plays, because there's still nice plays out there, and ultimately, I'm excited to see some of the prospects, and so especially some of the prospects, of Yankees and the Mets and each team's respective prospects. It's going to be exciting to see those, and I want to see, guys like Davy Garcia. I want to see guys like Jordan Montgomery, who had very good years last year, but with the Yankees' new pitching additions, they might not be in a great situation. And as for the Mets, I want to see guys like Dom Smith, if he can continue. He had a pretty decent year last year. I want to see if he can be a guy. He's still a guy that the Mets don't completely know what they're going to do with. So that's a guy that still has to completely prove that he deserves a roster spot. Guys like Marcus Strowman, who took a year off last season, I want to see what they do. I want to see if he can bounce back and be the same Marcus Strowman we saw a couple years ago. So some of the things like that. And really, just in general, what I'm most looking forward to is just watching a baseball game again, seeing players compete, whether that's the prospect, whether that's a player that's going to make the starting roster, whether that's a player that's going to be in the minors, whatever the case may be. Seeing guys compete, seeing guys go out there and give it their all and ultimately try to win games. That's what I'm most excited. We've seen these at bats where, pitchers thrown to a hitter with all that. But it's different. We want to see the infield. I want to see what Mike Talkman does. I want to see so many different things. So what I'm most excited to see when spring training games start are just the baseball. I'm just most excited to watch baseball. And I'm also excited to see how some of these prospects do. And especially for the Yankees, some of these pitchers. Who's going to be a guy that's going to fill out that fifth roster role, right? Because right now we have Cole, we have Tyone, we have Kluber, and we have Montgomery, David Garcia, and so many different guys. Clark Schmidt, who could be we have so many different guys. Who's going to fill in that other role? We'll see. So that, I would say, is what I'm most excited about. I'm also very excited, even though it's spring training, March 6th, the Padres and Dodgers play against each other. So they're two teams that are primed for a World Series run. That's going to be an exciting matchup. Even though you might not see Bellinger and all them play the whole game, you'll still get to see some of the guys. I'm sure Tatis will get some time. You still get to see them. Padres too. They got some good prospects. So you'll still, even though it might not be the best, you'll still get some good. You'll still get some good guys out there. You'll still get to see Dodgers Padres. That's what you'll get to see. So that's what I would say I'm most excited about. Generally, just watching baseball again. And I would like to comment. I would like to hear you comment down below all these questions. So when I say a question, comment down below your thoughts. So what are you most excited about in the spring training games? Is it just having baseball back, kind of like me, or is it having baseball back like me, or is it seeing some of these guys battling for roster spots? So that's what I would say. So this is as we get more into player by player here. So the next one up here is who is one player you will be watching closest early in spring training. So this one I gave some thought, and for the Yankees and the Mets, there's so many different players that you can look at closely and really try and dissect their game here. But realistically, if I had to choose players that I want to watch closely this spring training, there's a couple of them. And that's why I'm going to say players, because there's definitely a couple of them that I'm going to be watching closely this spring training on the Mets side and on the Yankee side, on both sides. The Mets is probably, I have about two guys that I want to watch, that I want to see closest, and the Yankees, it's probably about 2 to 3 as well. But like I said, I'm excited to see LeMahieu, but I want to really see some of these guys that, are either coming off of a struggling year or some of these guys that are coming off of injuries or a struggling year. I want to really watch closely and see if it seems like they're making improvements. So we'll start off with the Yankees here. So one player or a couple players on the Yankees I'm looking closely. Number one, I want to see what Gary Sanchez does. This is a guy who last year really, really, really struggled. And if you had to ask me, and spring training hasn't even started yet, so I got to give the guy a fair chance. I can't just sit here and go ahead and say this guy's going to be another terrible year. If I had to choose, I don't think if I had to pick, I don't know if Gary Sanchez is going to be Gary Sanchez we saw a couple years ago. I just think he's gotten in such a bad habit with his swinging and his hitting and all that stuff. So I don't know. But one guy I'm really looking at in the New York Yankees is Gary Sanchez. And you might think this is crazy, but it's the truth. Because this is a guy, Aaron Boone, Brian Cashman, and guys like that. Now, do I like Brian Cashman? No. Do I trust a lot of what he says? No. Because a lot of times he says that he's going to make a trade and he never makes a trade or anything. Same thing with Aaron Boone here. Do I trust everything he says? Not always. Aaron Boone or Brian Cashman are not just going to throw your catcher under the bus. They're gonna talk highly of him. Even if they had a struggling year, they're still going to say, I could see them turn a corner. I mean, for example, the Rangers are doing it right now with Mika Zibanejad. They're saying that this is a guy that's right around the corner of being and making great plays. He hasn't been the Mika Zibanejad so far, but he's gotten better though. But as for the Yankees here, Gary Sanchez, everyone's saying, even some of the players are, Gary Sanchez is looking very good so far in camp. And like I said, I want to see how he does against live hitting. I want to see if him and Cole can get on the right page, because him and Cole last season were not successful together. It was Cole and Higashioka where Cole found all of his success. That stretch where Cole was struggling, Gary Sanchez was catching him. That stretch where Cole was dominant, Kyle Higashioka was catching him. So that's what I want to see. How does Gary Sanchez do with Cole? Is he like he was last year and struggled, or does he get better? And I also want to see, does Gary Sanchez play like he did a couple years ago, or does he look lost like he was last season? And like I said, you're not going to be able to get all of it in spring training, but I do think you'll get a little bit of a feeling, because last season, Gary Sanchez, before the spring training got shut down, he was struggling a little bit in spring training. That ended up translating over to the regular season. So I want to see if Gary Sanchez right off the bat is striking out, looking at good pitches, swinging at bad pitches, right? If he's doing that and he's got a lot of pass balls, then that's going to concern me. But if he's looking good, he's playing good catcher, he's good on the defense and offense side of the ball, or at least if he's showing some sort of hope, even if it's just making contact. Last year, this was a guy who would strike out almost every at bat. I want to see how he does in spring training. I'm going to be watching him closely to see how he does defensively and offensively, because last season he struggled in spring training before it got shut down. Then the MLB season came back and he continued to struggle. So if he plays well here, that might be a sign of something. So I want to see how he does. And another player too here is I want to see how Corey Kluber does. And you might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I do. This is a guy who's coming off of shoulder surgery. He may have played one game last season, got taken out in the second inning. Got shoulder surgery. So I want to see how he returns. This is a guy who's a little bit older now. Might not be the Corey Kluber we all saw a couple seasons ago where he was winning Cy Youngs. He's older now. I want to see how he does. So when you get older, and as you get older, and you get more injuries, sometimes it's harder for your body to bounce back. He changed his pitching rotation. He changed his rotation, his arm, and stuff like that a little bit. He changed the way he pitches a little bit, which I'm perfectly okay with. But I want to see how he bounces back from the shoulder surgery. Now, if this was a guy a couple years ago where he was still pretty young, I wouldn't be concerned, but I'm not concerned, but I want to see how he does. I want to see how this new pitching form looks, and I want to see if he can bounce back well, because he is a little older, and shoulder surgery for a pitcher isn't great. So that's what I want to see. So those are the two guys for the Yankees I'm really going to be looking closely. I want to see what Sanchez does, and I want to see what Corey Kluber does, because I want to see how Kluber bounced back from the shoulder injury, and I want to see if Sanchez can somehow find a way to be better, be a better Sanchez. Be Sanchez of a couple years ago than Sanchez of last season. So I'm going to be watching those closely. And you could even put Sanchez, I should even just put the three catchers, Chirinos, Sanchez, and Higashioka. I'm going to be watching the catchers closely. because I want to see how they do. I want to see how they. I want to see how they do well. I want to see if Kluber does better with Higgy or Sanchez. I want to see if Cole finds the success with Chirinos, and maybe we get Chirinos get called up. Whatever the case may be. I should just say the catcher group and Corey Kluber. Those are the guys I'm looking at, but mainly Kluber and Sanchez. And as for the Mets here, we don't have much time left here. But as for the Mets here, I would go ahead and say my two guys I'm really looking at if I was a Mets fan, and I'm not a Mets fan. But just being a New York sports, just being someone who talks about New York sports, the two guys I would be really looking at is, number one, Dom Smith. I think he's definitely a guy you got to look at. Last season, he wasn't amazing, right? He had his moments, but he wasn't amazing. And that's where sometimes where you've got to look at it as is he wasn't amazing last season, but he showed potential. And that's one of the big questions too. And that really brings up the question in the entire MLB is this whole DH rule. What about the DH? What are we going to do with the DH? What about the DH? Like, Dom Smith can definitely be a DH, but with the NL not having a DH, is Dom Smith going to play left field? Or is he going to be a guy that's going to play left? What is he going to do? Because his hitting's good. Dom Smith is a good player, but the Mets don't know what to do with him because you have him at DH and you have him in left field. So what I'm trying to say here is this is possibly an opportunity here for Dom Smith is to show the Mets that he deserves to be the everyday left fielder. And this is not a guy that should be, playing left field 2 times every week, or coming in the pinch hit late in the game. He should be showing them that that he definitely should be out there every game, should be out there playing left field. And I think one of the things, if you really want to go in depth here, is I want to see how Dom Smith does in left field. Because we've seen Dom Smith, very good power. He's got good power. I can't take that away from him. He's got incredible power. He's a very good swing. He's very good power. Very good power. And I can't take that away from him. I can't stand talking highly about the Mets, but sometimes you just got to do it. He's got very good power. He reminds me, and I don't want to compare him with Clint Frazier. Because Clint Frazier, Clint Frazier, I'm not trying to compare them to. Clint Frazier had a little bit wasn't great on the defense side of the ball. Dom Smith is good on the defense side of the ball, but I think his hitting is even better. And I want to see how his hitting does. I want to see if he can be a better hitter than he was last season, right? He had his moments last year. And it's the guy, too. The Mets don't quite know what they want to do with him. Do they want to keep him? Do they want to put him in left field? What are they going to do with him? So I think this is an opportunity for Dom Smith to take and say, you know what? I'm going to take it and run with it. I'm going to go out here, give it my all, and show the New York Mets, show Luis Rojas, show this front office, show this organization, show the fans that I deserve to be an everyday player on this roster. And I think that's big. And I think that's something you got to watch closely here, is how does he do? How does he fare? Playing with the young guys, the communication. I want to see how he does. Because if he struggles and he's not great and he thinks he's just going to slide in a roster spot, well, then there's a problem. But if he does well and he looks good, and that's all the things. That's why I'm looking at it. That's why I want to watch. That's why I want to see what he does. Because if he looks good and he's playing well, it's the guy that's going to slide into that everyday role. So we'll see how that plays out. And then the next player, and I'm strictly doing this because he didn't play last season, Marcus Strowman. He didn't play last year. He missed the entire year because of the whole COVID. He ended up opting out. He played in spring training. Season got shut down. Ended up not playing in the 60-game shortened season when it got returned in July. He did not play there. So what that means is, how is he going to bounce back? It's almost like he's not coming off of an injury, but in a way it's like he is, because he missed the whole year. So he missed the whole season, and in a way it's not like he's coming off of an injury, but in a way like he did miss the entire season. So how does that play out? How does that play out? Does he play, does he do good? Does he, look like a true, does he do good, and does he go out there and play like he did with the Blue Jays? Because if you don't know me, I am a huge Marcus Strowman fan. I've always liked Marcus Strowman ever since his time with the Blue Jays. I've seen him play a million times when he was with the Blue Jays and against the Yankees, and when even last season in spring training with the Mets, and I've seen him play, against the Yankees and stuff. I wanted the Yankees to get Marcus Strowman, and I thought for sure we would, but how the New York Yankees work, we ended up not getting him. So that's a guy too. I want to see how that goes. It's a guy who missed all last season, coming in, Is he going to come in and be the same Marcus Strowman throwing that heat fastball like we've seen him? Or is he going to come in and be a little bit of a slower, lose some velocity, not have as much spin on his all speed? What Marcus Strowman are we getting? That's a big question there, and we'll see if it gets answered. So those are the two players I'm looking closely there. Is Dom Smith, does he slide into that everyday role? And Marcus Strowman, does he look like the Marcus Strowman we saw in the Blue Jays? And does he look better or does he look worse? What do we see? Because he opted out. And missing a whole season, if you're injured or not, missing a whole season, it's still a whole season. Whether you're injured or you're not injured, it is still an entire season. People got to realize that. Sometimes people are like, oh, he opted out, it's not the end of the year, but it was still a whole year. Yeah, he wasn't injured, but it's still, you missed a whole year. So I want to see how you bounce back. That's why I have Kluber there as well. So Yankees, it's catching staff, but mainly Gary Sanchez and Corey Kluber. And for the Mets, it's Dom Smith and Marcus Strowman. And just because I'm watching these guys closely doesn't mean I don't think they're going to have good years. I just want to see how they do. Gary Sanchez, I want to see if he can have a better year this year. And I think a lot of that will be told in spring training. Same thing with Corey Kluber. Do we see the healthy side of Corey Kluber? Is this a Corey Kluber that's not going to look great? I think he'll look good, though. From what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing, he looks good. And Marcus Strowman. Is this going to be the Marcus Strowman we saw in the Blue Jays? Or is this just going to be a terrible Marcus Strowman and opted out and looks rusty? Same thing with Dom Smith. Is this a guy that's going to slip into an everyday role? What are we going to do? It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So those are the guys I'm watching. We're already hit 30 minutes, so we're definitely spending a lot of time on this. Let's see here. So the next question. Oh, by the way, I would like for you to comment down below. Your thoughts on that. I would like to hear you. I would like to see you comment down below. Your thoughts on the. Your thoughts. I would like to see you comment down below your thoughts on the players. So, what are one player you watching? Or if you did me, players, add an S at the end of it, whatever you want to do. Comment down below. I would like to comment down below on each of these. Now, if you obviously, you could have a different, you don't have to just do what I did, but I want to hear your opinions as well. So, next up here, we got, which player who changed teams this winter are you most excited to see in his new uniform? So, for the New York Mets, this is pretty easy. And for the Yankees, I want to really see how Kluber and Tyone do, because I really think they have potential to really be solid. I really do. I think they have potential to be solid. We've seen what Tyone could do at the highest of highs, and we've seen what Corey Kluber can do at the highest of highs. Now, that doesn't mean that they are going to be, that doesn't mean that Corey Kluber is going to be the Cy Young winning Corey Kluber. But I really believe Tyone is going to pick up where he left off in Pittsburgh, because when he was really good in Pittsburgh, that wasn't that long ago. I mean, that was last season he had a solid year, and a couple seasons before that as well. Kluber, it's about a couple years now. We're running on a couple years of him not winning the Cy Young. So I'm most excited to see that. And, you could say, oh, let's see how Justin Wilson does, all this different stuff. But I really want to see how Kluber and Tyone do. Because I really believe Tyone's still young, and I really believe and I'm not just saying this because he's a Yankee, and you might think I am, but I'm not. And I will even say the Mets player I'm bringing up, I have something else to say as well. I'm fair. I think I'm very fair with teams, and I think I'm fair. But I'm not just saying this because he's a Yankee. And I even known him when I knew him when he was with not the Steelers, the Pirates. Got my Pittsburgh teams mixed up there. But I even knew him when he was at the Pirates. I mean, he's a pretty good big name. Tyone is a guy that I feel like he has so much talent. He has so much talent. Like, I'm not saying the best player in the league talent, but he has so much talent. I feel like he's shown it, but I feel like there's so much more talent with him than what he's shown yet. And I think part of that reason is because he has been on and off the field with injuries, but he's been healthier of late. And I think I think too, it's the fact that, this was a guy that was, one day, this is a guy that I think if he's more consistent in the rotation where, if he's on the field more consistently and not injured that much, is a guy that can definitely be solid. And that's why I feel like he has so much talent. He has so much talent bottled up inside of him. It's just like I'm just waiting for him to burst and just go out there and be throwing strikeouts every inning. Like I'm waiting for that, and I really believe Taillon can do that. And as for Kluber, Kluber, I would love for him to turn into the Cy Young Corey Kluber we saw a couple years ago. I would love every pitcher on the Yankees staff to be amazing. I want the Yankees to go 162-0. That's not going to happen, but we would love to see it. Right? So, with Kluber and with Kluber and with Taillon, like Taillon is still young and he has so much talent, I feel like, bottled up inside of him to really burst and be this excellent pitcher. And as for Kluber, is this a guy that maybe that shoulder injury he had was what was causing problems the past 3 years? Because he's had a couple rocky past 3 seasons. Is that what's happening? So now his shoulder's fixed. Is he now going to go out there? I'm not saying he's going to turn into the Cy Young winning Corey Kluber, but is this going to be a guy that's going to, look something like that? Go out there and really play well? We'll see how it plays out. So those are 2 guys I'm really, really exciting. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and this is too, like, the Yankees rotation, like, that's where a lot of people mix it up. Because the Yankees didn't make too many big moves this season. But the Yankees rotation can be outstanding. And I think a lot of it lies on what Taillon and Kluber does. Because we know Cole's going to be good. We know if Davy Garcia gets a start and Montgomery get a start, we know they're going to be good. But I think the big things is Taillon and Kluber. I think a lot of base off in Kluber. And obviously Severino is going to return from Tommy John. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think really what's big is what Kluber and Taillon do. And I'm not saying they decide how this team plays. I'm not saying if Kluber does amazing, this team's going to be amazing. But I really believe the Yankees' rotation lies on what they do. Because I think the Yankees really see potential in these 2 pitchers, especially Taillon. And I think they see Kluber possibly being what he was a couple seasons ago. Not the Cy Young, but somewhere near it. I'm not saying going out there throwing 8 innings of 1-run ball and 15 strikeouts, because that's literally what Kluber would do night in and night out. But maybe 6-7 innings of 5, 6, 7 strikeouts and 2 to 3 run ball. I would say that's pretty close. And Taillon, 2 to 3 innings of 7-run ball, or 7-inning ball. 7 innings, 2, 3-run ball, 6, 7 strikeouts. Right? I think the Yankees seen that. If they can't do that, that's a problem. That's why I'm really excited to see what those guys do. And as for the Mets, this is pretty simple. It's Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco. And I think Carrasco, I know a lot of people are talking about DeGrom, and a lot of people are talking about Strowman. And I talk about DeGrom a ton. I really like DeGrom. And a lot of people are talking about Syndergaard's return and what Trevor May can do. And a lot of people talk, and maybe it's just because Carrasco came over in the Lindor deal and everyone was talking about Lindor. But I really feel like Carrasco could be that hidden gem of that, not the Indians rotation. I'm so used to him being on the Indians. Of that Mets rotation. I really believe Carrasco could be the hidden gem there. And I'm not just saying that just to say that, but I really believe that. I mean, I really believe there's potential there for him. I mean, he was very good with the Indians. I think he could even be better with the Mets. And it's going to be interesting to see where they place him in the rotation. And you could even put him under, the category of players that, you're going to watch closely. Because Carrasco could possibly be a guy that you're looking at maybe battling for the number 2 starter role with Strowman and him. I mean, I would go on and say that it's probably going to be not Syndergaard. It's probably going to be DeGrom, Carrasco, Strowman. But that could switch. And it could be, but when Syndergaard comes back, it's probably going to be DeGrom, Syndergaard, Carrasco, and Strowman, and probably David Peterson at the end of that. So you could make so many different combinations. But for opening day, it's probably going to be DeGrom, Carrasco, and Strowman. But you could also put Carrasco on the other list, because let's just say Strowman comes out firing, looking great, and Carrasco comes out and looks good. Carrasco comes out and looks good. You might put Strowman at number 2 and Carrasco at number 3. I would probably go ahead and say Carrasco's number 2 and Strowman's 3, just because I think Carrasco's the better pitcher. And I think even though it might show spring training that Strowman's better, I think you know that he's the better pitcher. And then Francisco Lindor. This one I don't have to go too deep in. I mean, I think every Mets fan's excited too. And I think baseball fans are too. I mean, Lindor, I've always liked him as a player. He's always been fun to watch. from his really nice hits to his stellar plays at shortstop. He's fun to watch. So he's another guy, too, that you're going to be excited to watch. I think we can all agree on that. And there's DeGrom, too. DeGrom, he's always fun to watch. There's so many different guys. And on the Yankees, who are you most, excited to see? This is New York uniform-wise. So Tyone and Kluber for the Yankees, and Carrasco and Lindor for the Mets, because they are in new uniforms. So, but if you had to go off of who's most excited to watch, I'm excited to watch Judge. I'm excited to watch LeMahieu. I'm excited to watch Tyone and Kluber. I'm excited to watch Cole. I'm excited to watch the whole Yankees team. And Mets fans would say the same thing about the Mets, right? But this is for new uniform. So Lindor, Carrasco, Tyone, Kluber. So Tyone and Kluber for the Yankees, and Lindor and Carrasco for the Mets. So we're almost at 40 minutes here, which is a lot of time. So the next one was, which one team are you most excited to watch during spring? I want to see. To be honest, outside of the Yankees and the Mets, and I would probably say Dodgers and Padres, but I also want to see how the Blue Jays do. And I really think the Blue Jays this season could be one of those really hidden teams that could really make a quiet but fierce push at the title. And I know a lot of people might disagree, but I really believe the Blue Jays might be one of those teams. Everyone will be talking about the Yankees and the Rays, which is normal coming out of the AL East. But I really believe that the Blue Jays are going to be that sneaky team that not many people are going to talk about, and they're going to go through and they're going to be like beating teams. Oh, wow, they sweep this team, they sweep team. Slowly by slowly, they're knocking down teams, and everyone's like, they're going to sneak up on a team and just crush them. I really believe that's what the Blue Jays are going to do this season. They're going to be like that quiet team that just comes in and just like takes you down without you even knowing. Like, I really believe that's what the Blue Jays are going to do. Like, not everyone's going to be talking about the Yankees, Dodgers, and Padres, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Blue Jays are up there. Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero, guys like that. That's one team. Obviously, one team I'm most excited to watch outside of the Yankees and the Mets, I want to see what Dodgers and Padres do, because I think they're the next two teams that are truly contenders as well. I'm not really... the Mets, I'm not, I don't like the Mets, so I don't want to say I'm crazy excited to watch the Mets. But outside of the Yankees, it's probably the Dodgers and the Padres. And then the Blue Jays as well. And if you really want to stretch, I guess you could say, it's a little crazy stretch. But if you really want to eliminate all the teams, pull up your underdog team that you might see is like the Nationals or something. Maybe not them. An underdog team. Not the Tigers. The Tigers would be fun to watch spring training because the Tigers have a lot of young talent. The Tigers have a lot of good young talent. Like Spencer Torkelson, what does he do? They got a lot of young talent. But the Nationals, like I said, it's always fun to watch Soto and them play. Soto's so much fun to watch. So that's what I would go ahead and say. Which young prospect should fans make sure to watch when he plays with his MLB team this spring? For the Yankees and the Mets, there's so many different ones. But I think a guy like Andrew Vaughn, who's the White Sox, could be a name. One of the Yankees catchers, could be a name. I think Andrew Vaughn, obviously Spencer Torkelson, who was the first round pick, could be a name. There's so many different names. You could even say Christian Pache of the Braves could be a name, possibly. But he's a left fielder too, and Ozuna is going to be in left field, so you don't know how much he's going to get to play. There could be so many different names, but that's really the questions. That's the questions. So let me just run through them again quickly here. Which one? Okay, first off is, what are you most excited about for spring training? I think a lot of us can agree it's just having baseball back. Then I would like to have you comment down below which is one player you will be watching closest early in spring training. You could do it on any MLB team, or you could do what I did, really hone in on the Yankees and the Mets. As for which player who changed teams this winter on the Yankees and the Mets would you want to do, or just any MLB team? Which one team are you most excited to watch during spring training? Like I said, if you're a Yankee, outside of your favorite team, whether you're a Yankees fan, Mets fan, whatever you are, outside of your favorite team, what team are you most excited to watch? Or you can even just put down your favorite team, because I'm obviously most excited to watch the Yankees, but there's also other teams out there. Which young prospect should fans make sure to watch? You could put that for the Yankees or the Mets, or you could do any prospect. Or even if you want to change up that question a little bit and put young player, you could do that too, like Davey Garcia, Jordan Montgomery, some of the young guys there. What young player, like Pete Alonso on the Mets, like he's young still, like you could do young or prospect, whatever you want to do. You could change it up however you want, but that's that. So, now we head into the games here. So let's do the game picks here. I think they should be up. Okay, so got to get over here. So it's at ESPN. We'll talk about Leonard Williams, but we are really deep into this podcast. Let's go to MLB. Okay, so I'll just do all the games. I'll pick them. It's not going to be a crazy in-depth pick, but I'll pick them. We'll kick it off with the Yankees Blue Jays. I'll give the Yankees a win there. First spring training game, we'll give them a win. Rays Braves, I'll give the Braves the win. Twins Red Sox, I'll give the Twins the win. Marlins Astros, I'll give the Astros the win. As much as I hate to say that, I guess I will there. Phillies Tigers, I'll give Phillies the win. It's so hard though to tell who's going to win, though, because, team starters aren't going to play. So sometimes you got to think. That's why I'm taking a little time here. Sometimes you got to think, who has the better, young players. Pirates, Orioles the win. Cardinals, Nationals, Cardinals. We'll give the Nationals, I guess. It doesn't matter. Not Francisco Lindor. Nolan Arenado. He's going to be fun to watch. Angels, Giants, I'll give Giants the win. Reds, Indians, give Indians the win. Dodgers, A's, give Dodgers the win. Brewers, White Sox, give White Sox the win. Royals, Rangers, give Royals the win. Diamondbacks, Rockies, give Diamondbacks the win. And Padres, Mariners, give Padres the win. And then for Monday, we'll preview those games then. I'll do those games then. So, so the Yankees' first game will be, to be exactly here, will be Sunday, February 28th. So this Sunday, Yankees, Blue Jays at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So, however you watch the game, whether that's on your phone or TV or whatever the case may be, that should be good. We're going to kick off spring training here with the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. So that should be good. Alrighty, so coming up next, we'll get into Leonard Williams here, rumors with the Giants here. The rumors of, we'll get into the Giants, we'll get into the rumors here. So Leonard Williams rumors. The Giants are reportedly not close to an extension with star defensive tackle Leonard Williams. I'll tell you why this is not good for the New York Giants, and I will tell you why they need to sign him back if they want any chance of doing anything this season coming back. Or I will tell you why they need to re-sign him coming up next. Alrighty, so Leonard Williams rumors. Giants and defensive linemen aren't close to new contract ahead of free agency. So obviously they are not close to a new contract ahead of free agency. As free agency comes closer and deals start to happen, we'll hear more about this. But I thought this was pretty big here because the New York Giants are not close. Defensive tackle, they aren't even close. Now, it's obviously the beginning of free agency, and obviously, teams, coaches, players are obviously got a little bit of negotiating to do, GMs and stuff. It's not going to happen right away. You're not going to reach an extension right away. But it's not always good to start far apart, is what I should say. And, this deal has worked out really well for the New York Giants. And when the New York Giants first made the move, it was actually very stupid. And I don't want to use that word, but it wasn't smart. It actually was not a smart move. And I'll tell you why here. The New York Giants first made this move. The New York Giants first made this move to a couple. For the New York Giants first made this move, they traded Leonard Williams from the New York Jets. So the Jets traded Leonard Williams to the Giants, and the Jets got a 3rd and a 5th round pick for it. Now, originally, right when this move happened, this was not a good move. And I'll tell you why here. Because originally when this move happened, the Giants were getting a guy that originally, at the end of the season for the Jets, would have anyways been a free agent. And the Jets had no plans on re-signing him. And there was only a couple games left in the season. So the Giants were too impatient and went ahead, one of Dave Gettleman's many terrible moves, went ahead and ended up trading for him, getting him, instead of just waiting another week or two and getting him then. Many people did not know why they made the move. I didn't like the move to begin with either, because I liked Leonard Williams a lot, and I still do, and I hope wherever he goes, he does well, and I hope he does deserve the big contract. I really like Leonard Williams. But obviously with Leonard Williams here, is like, why would you trade for him, give up picks, and then when 2 weeks later you could have just signed him, because the offseason was coming soon anyway, and the Jets already said they had no plans of re-signing him. So you could have quickly, right when the season ended, signed him. And Leonard Williams wasn't that big of a contract then, because he was still younger, and it's only happened a couple seasons ago. But then you re-sign him, and you're like, what the heck are you doing? You re-sign him, and you get him all that. You trade for him, and you're like, you could have just had him. You could have had him a week from now without getting anything up, and then you had to trade for him. It made no sense. So when the deal first happened, it made sense. And technically currently, they still should have just waited to sign him. But so far, those picks, I believe, have not turned into much crazy for anything from the Jets. But yeah, when this move first happened, it wasn't good. But Leonard Williams does everything. He does a lot of right. So the Giants should re-sign him. They should. And if they don't, this is going to be a big hole in their offense line. Now, I think they should re-sign Leonard Williams to a long-term deal and franchise tag Dalvin Tomlinson, because I don't think a franchise tag is going to sit well with Leonard Williams. I think Leonard Williams is going to want the money, but that's just me. So let's read this quick article here. So Leonard Williams rumors Giants defensive linemen aren't close to new contract ahead of free agency. The New York Giants and star defensive lineman Leonard Williams reportedly remain far apart in contract negotiations. According to Dan Duggan of The Athletic, the Giants and Williams aren't close to reaching a deal ahead of the March 9th franchise tag deadline. New York tagged Williams last offseason. He responded with a career year, recording 57 tackles and a career-high 11.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, and 30 quarterback hits. The 26-year-old Williams was the number 6 overall pick in the 2015 NFL Draft by the New York Jets. He showed flashes during his 5 seasons with Gang Green, but rather than signing him to an extension, the Jets shipped him to the Giants. Williams was named a Pro Bowler in his second season when he registered 68 tackles and 7 sacks, but the production dipped to an average of 45 tackles and 3.5 sacks the next 2 seasons. The Giants got an 8-game audition of Williams in 2019. Although he finished the season with only a half a sack, the organization was intrigued enough to pay him top dollar for 1 season. That decision paid off for all involved, and Williams is now in line to either sign a big extension or land another franchise tag at the very least. The Giants went just 6-10 last season, but they had one of the better defenses in the league, ranking 9th in points allowed and 12th in total defense. Williams' development into a top-tier pass rusher was a big reason why. The former USC standout has now proved that he can excel against both the pass and the run, plus he has displayed the versatility to play essentially anywhere on the line. It is difficult to envision the Giants allowing Williams to test free agency, but if they do, he would instantly become among the most highly sought-after players available. Williams is essentially a light version of prime J.J. Watt and is about 5 years younger than Watt is right now. ESPN's Diana Rossini reported Thursday that Watt is receiving offers in the neighborhood of $15 million to $16 million per season, which means Williams could possibly command even more with significantly longer term as well. So the Giants, if they want any chance of being the defense they were last season, they're going to have to get Leonard Williams back. So that's big. So let's look at his quick numbers here, and then we'll get into all the college basketball stuff here. So last season he had 29 solo tackles. That was 150 plus in the league. But he had 11.5 sacks. That was 7th. No forced fumbles or no interceptions. But that's normal for a defensive lineman. It's a guy, too, that he plays all the games. It's a guy, too, that he plays the games. And he'll play all the games, which is big. So, yeah. So, the Giants definitely need to sign him back if they want him. And if they don't, Jets getting him back, possibly that wouldn't happen. But that would be funny. All right, so let's get into the final topics here. Today, for college basketball, or yesterday, San Diego State won, Michigan State won, Colorado won, Illinois won, Gonzaga won, Michigan won, and Houston won. Today, we got Loyola, Chicago, and Southern Illinois. I'll give Loyola, Chicago a win. That's the only AP Top 25 game today. Tomorrow, we got Michigan, Indiana, give Michigan the win. Tennessee, Auburn, give Tennessee the win. Texas Tech, Texas, give Texas the win. Wisconsin, Illinois, give Wisconsin, Illinois the win. Arkansas, LSU, give Arkansas the win. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, give Oklahoma the win. San Diego State, Boise State, give San Diego State the win. Florida State, North Carolina, give Florida State the win. West Virginia, Kansas State, give West Virginia the win. Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, give Virginia Tech the win. Creighton, Xavier, give Creighton the win. Alabama, Mississippi State, give Alabama the win. Loyola, Chicago, Southern Illinois, I will give Loyola, Chicago the win. Baylor, Kansas, give Baylor the win. USC, Utah, give USC the win. And Gonzaga, Loyola, Marymount, give Gonzaga the win. Kentucky also played today. Kentucky comes to this game 8-13. Florida comes to this game 12-6. Kentucky, the spread's not out yet, but this game comes on at tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CBS. I'll give Kentucky a win. They keep it rolling. Next up, we got Villanova, Butler, give Villanova the win. Ohio State, Iowa, give Ohio State the win. And Houston, South Florida, give Houston the win. So that was that. As for the NBA, yesterday, Bucks won, Wizards won, Grizzlies won, Knicks won, and 76ers won. Nets also won yesterday, 129-92. We moved to 22-12 on the season. Another big win. Irving, 27 points, Harden, 20 points. Bruce Brown and Joe Harris both had 14 points. Sam had 19 points, and Claxton had 10 points. Very good game for Claxton. Kyrie led the way with 27 points. Big win there. As for today, we got Celtics, Pacers, give Pacers the win. Raptors, Rockets, give Raptors the win. Grizzlies, Clippers, give Clippers the win. Hawks, Thunder, give Hawks the win. Jazz, Heat, give Jazz the win. Kings, Pistons, give Kings the win. Bulls, Suns, give Suns the win. Warriors, Hornets, give Warriors the win. And Lakers, Trailblazers, give Lakers the win. And tomorrow, we got 76ers, Cavs, give 76ers the win. Wizards, Timberwolves, give Wizards the win. Magic, Jazz, give Jazz the win. Nuggets, Thunder, give Nuggets the win. Knicks, Pacers, give Pacers the win. And Pelicans, Spurs, give Pelicans the win. Or Spurs the win. And Nets also put in tomorrow. Nets come in this game 22-12. Mavericks come in this game 15-16. Nets, spread's not out yet here, but the Nets are 22-12. Game comes out tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ABC. I'll give the Nets a win here. Keep it rolling. 9 straight games there. So 8 straight wins there. 8 straight wins right now here. Clippers, Bucks and then on Sunday, Clippers, Bucks give Clippers the win. Bulls, Raptors give Raptors the win. Celtics, Wizards give Celtics the win. Rockets, Grizzlies give Rockets the win. Or Grizzlies the win. Hawks, Heat give Heat the win. Knicks, Pistons give Knicks the win. Warriors, Lakers give Lakers the win. Suns, Timberwolves give Suns the win. And Hornets, Kings give Hornets the win. So that's that for the NBA there. And then for the NHL, yesterday, the Oilers won, Jets won, Red Wings won, Lightning won, Panthers won, Capitals won, Devils won, Bruins won, Senators won, and Blackhawks won. Today we got the Kings Wild give Wild the win, Coyotes, Avalanche give Avalanche the win, And that's it. And the Rangers also, what are they? Rangers coming in this game 6-8-3. Bruins coming in this game 11-4-2. This game comes on today, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could over/under is 5.5 for this game. You can find this game on today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NHL Network, or you can find it on MSG. I don't foresee the Rangers winning this game. Bruins are a very good team, but go Rangers. Tomorrow, there's a lot of games here. Capitals to win, Flames to win, Flyers to win, Blue Jackets to win. I'll give Hurricanes to win, Maple Leafs to win, Penguins to win, Stars to win. No, Lightning to win, Kings to win, Blackhawks to win, Avalanche to win, Canadiens to win, or Jets to win, Knights to win, and Blues to win. And on Sunday, we got Blue Jackets, Predators, give Blue Jackets to win. Devils, Capitals, give Capitals to win. Flyers, Sabres, give Flyers to win. Penguins, Islanders, give Penguins to win. And Blackhawks, Red Wings, give Blackhawks to win. Rangers also play on Sunday, 6-8. Rangers also play on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. This game's on NBC. Depending on how this game goes, either win or loss. I guess a win there. So that's that. And then as for fantasy, got a lot of good stuff going on fantasy. Fantasy basketball, I'm currently winning 849 to 658. Today I've got going Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, Jeremy Grant, Pascal Siakam, Jonas Valanciunas, Victor Oladipo, Miles Turner, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and Kemba Walker. Injury report is pretty clean there. And as for hockey, I'm winning 75 to 60, so going pretty good there. Today I've got going Mika Zibanejad, Anzes Kopitar, and that's it. I made a move yesterday. I added a goalie, then I dropped him, and then I added another goalie today, Mike Smith. I put Jonathan, here. So this is the injury report. So Jack Eichel is day-to-day. Eichel lower body won't suit up in Thursday's game against the Devils. Paul Hamilton of WGR Sports Radio 550 reports. So that was that. And then Jacob Markstrom, I made some roster moves. So I moved Markstrom to my IR spot, picked up a goaltender in Mark Smith. So Markstrom, the Flames plays Markstrom upper body on injury reserve Thursday. So that was that. So we'll see how that goes. So, that's what I got for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Everyone enjoy another packed sports weekend ahead of us. Another big sports weekend. Should be good. A lot of good sports. Baseball, basketball, and hockey. So, a lot of good sports. So, enjoy the baseball games. Baseball starts up on Sunday, so enjoy all the games. Should be good. Excited to watch them. It's kind of funny. It's perfect. Basketball is on Saturday. Baseball is on Sunday. It's perfect. So with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast here today. Basketball, hockey on Sunday, or on Saturday and Sunday, and baseball on Sunday. But mainly on Saturdays, basketball and hockey stuff. But then Sunday, we got all the baseball action. So with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast here today. As you all know, I take breaks on the weekend. So I'll see you all back here tomorrow. I'll see you all back here on Monday as I take breaks on the weekend. So I will see you all back here on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the sports. I'll see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.